Welcome back to Cooking with Phil Darst. I'm Phil Darst and I'm glad to have you here. If it's your first time here, I'm glad you found us. I hope you'll enjoy the meal we're cooking today. And if you're one of the faithful that has subscribed and keeps coming back, I'm glad to have you back. Now, today we're going to have something a little different. With something that we used here a while back, couscous. A lot of people hadn't heard about couscous and didn't know what it was, and some people emailed me and told me they liked it, so we're going to do it again. This is a simple recipe. It's Spanish couscous. I like a lot of Mexican and Spanish foods because they've got some of my favorites, onions and peppers and some hot stuff in it. So today we're going to get down to it. I'm going to show you the ingredients in a few minutes. They're rather simple. Most people have them. And if not, well, you can pick them up pretty easily at the grocery store because they're pretty popular vegetables, and the spices are something that we use here quite frequently. So let's get to it. I'll be over here in a second and show you what we're going to put in our Spanish couscous today. Thanks for coming by. Okay, here we are with the grocery list in front of us here. You can see that first we'll start out with an onion, Spanish onion. I use a number of different types of onions, but this is a Spanish for Spanish couscous. Another one of our favorites here is garlic. We'll put enough garlic in there to give it some real taste. And green pepper. Now, green pepper is something that has a little more sharpness than the yellow or the sweet, so we want to put it in there. And spices, I have some cumin in here, so one of my favorites. This is used in a lot of Mexican and Spanish dishes, cumin and cumin seed, which is different. The cumin powder is just simply cumin seeds ground up, but these we'll put in early and let them kind of flavor up our oil as we put it in there. And then a very basic item. Now, we could have used chicken broth, but because we have some vegans that like to watch us and try some of our recipes, this is a vegetable soup base that you can pick up at a lot of grocery stores. So we're going to put some of that, just about a cup of it in there. It is gluten-free for anybody that cares about that. And one of the main ingredients that we use in a lot of Mexican foods is tomatoes, diced tomatoes, but these have green peppers in it, and these are the hot ones. Now, these are chilies, and they have a mild type and a hot type. We're going to go full route, and we're going to give it the hot stuff today. And then, of course, the couscous. Now, it's interesting. This is a Near Eastern dish that is used over in the Middle Eastern countries quite a bit. I'm somewhat fond of it because it's a light pasta and it seems to blend and mix in with a lot of foods. So we're going to put some of the original couscous. Now, I will tell you that they do have different flavored couscous too in the boxes, and it's a non-GMO thing, so the vegans ought to love that. And then I'm probably going to put in some cilantro flakes if I can find them over in the cupboard. I didn't lay them out here. But in just a few minutes, we're going to start chopping and dicing and opening cans and get ready to put it over here on the stove because I'm getting hungry. See you shortly. Well, we're about ready to cook. I've got an empty pan for now. I'm going to put in a little bit of extra virgin olive oil here. I don't measure often, but that ought to be about a spoonful. So I'm going to kind of move that around and let it get warmed up a little bit before we put anything else in. I think the next thing we're going to put in here is the cumin seed. Now remember, we've got this, we've got powdered cumin, so I'm just going to put in about a teaspoon of that. And what's supposed to happen to that is as it starts to warm up, it's going to pop and flavor our oil with cumin. So we'll let that sit in there a minute while we're getting ready to add some other ingredients. We've got onions. The one thing I didn't tell you about is I've got some peas. I think we're going to put some peas in there, give a little bit more vegetables. So we're starting to flavor up here. I can see it's starting to bubble a little bit. And I'm stirring it. I'm going to be putting onion in here in a jiffy. And start sauteing some onion. So we've got the onion in there. That's our Spanish onion again. And we're just going to get that kind of transparent. And then I'm going to be putting garlic in shortly. I like garlic. If you notice here, I've got a lot of garlic. And we're going to put that through the garlic press in a few minutes, but we won't do it too soon because we don't want to burn it. And then we've got some other good stuff here. I made some broth out of the bouillon we had. So I'm setting that over there. I microwaved it. That's just about 3/4 of a cup of vegetable bouillon in water that we nuked to get it kind of liquidized, if that's a word. And we're not quite ready yet. We're still sauteing. And I'm going to put in, this is cumin powder, which is, as we decided, it's cumin seed all powdered up. And it gives it a little bit more of a unique flavor. I'm not going to put much salt in here, but I'm going to put just a tad bit of sea salt in, and that should draw a little bit more moisture out of our onions there to give them a little bit more flavor. So we'll stir that a little bit more. We're getting pretty near ready for garlic. I think I'm going to put a little bit more oil in there and get that oiled up a little bit because I want to put in the peppers now. There we go. So now we're going to add the peppers, and they're going to start adding a little bit of flavor to this and soften up a little bit so that they're more easy to chew. We're moving them around here to get a little bit of that mixture of the flavors here. Let the flavors blend a little bit. Now we're getting ready for what I think is the good part, the fun part. And that is, I'm going to start in a second here using my towel. I like garlic press. I mince up garlic once in a while, but I really like it pressed because that way, whoops, the juice comes out of it. So we've got garlic juice as well as garlic in there. What am I doing wrong? Okay. Let's see. There we go. That's the way it's supposed to work. So I got to get out of the way. My daughter tells me I get in the way. She says, a lot of times you can see my back, so I got to fix that. Get out of the way of the camera here so you can see what's going into our pot. And as you see, that's garlic. And that's going to give it, in my opinion, some real taste there now. And we'll put some more in. You may not want as much garlic as I do, but I like garlic. And I think, other than my cat, there's nobody around me I'm going to offend today. So, we get that in there, and then the next step is we're going to start putting the old juice in it. So, there we go. I'll clean that up later. And I'll keep stirring so we don't burn. I don't like burned garlic. I don't know about you, although it's kind of interesting. I like roasted garlic. Sometimes I got a garlic roaster here that I use, and roast garlic. Okay, now that should be going along pretty well. That salt's going to help it out some. I'm going to put the peas in here right now, and I don't know why I didn't put them out on the counter when I was showing you the ingredients, but I think peas give it this dish a little something extra. And now, remember we got the tomatoes, which has a liquid in it, so we're adding a little liquid in there. That is some heat. So now the tomatoes are starting to add a little bit more flavor and texture to the dish, and then we're going to put in, let that start boiling a little bit. I'm just going to put the lid on in a second or two just to get it super hot and get this out of the way. Now we're going to add some couscous before long, but before we do that we're going to have to put in the bouillon so that we got something for the couscous to work with here. Let's see, that's plenty hot right now. I hope you're enjoying this, and I think if you'll try it, I'd like for you to comment down there. I get a lot of emails because a lot of people that know me see this. Some of them are too bashful to comment, but I'd love to have yours, especially if you're going to try this, and tell me how you feel about it. And we'd also like for you to like it and share it with your friends. Let them get a chance to see what we're doing. Now I'm going to pour the bouillon in. You can see the real stuff in there. Didn't get it all blended in, so we're going to do that. And we're going to bring this to a boil. And as soon as it boils, I'm going to put the couscous in, get my bib out, and get ready to eat here pretty quick. So you can see what we have in there. Looks like Christmas. It's kind of green and pretty. I think that's another reason we put the peas in, but that's why we got some of that green pepper. You notice I didn't put any other peppers in there other than that. And I'm going to put the lid on it here for just a second or two, and I will be back shortly as that boils, and we'll put the couscous in for you. Well, shortly is over, and we're boiling. We're boiling pretty well, so it's time to put the couscous in. Now, there was 3/4 of a cup of water with the bouillon that we needed. And then we're putting in 3/4 of a cup of couscous. So it's pretty easy to remember. If you haven't used couscous before, it's about 1 to 1, whether you're using a 1/2 cup, or 3/4 of a cup, or more than that. But that's going to be enough for me. And if nobody comes over to eat it with me, then I'll have leftovers. And I like leftovers. So what we need to do is to just simply stir in the couscous, and we're going to pop the lid on and let it kind of steep or set for a little bit until it absorbs all the water in there. And in the meantime, I'm going to get me a spoon, and I'm going to taste this stuff to see if it meets my own taste test. And I'll put the lid on here and shut the camera off, and I'll be back at lunchtime. Well, it's about time for me to eat, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm sure of that. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have a knife out here and probably a fork, because I need all this with a spoon, but your company, so we're going to do it nicely. This is a little sprig of rosemary. I like rosemary. It goes with about anything. So we're going to pluck a little bit of that off and mix it in with our dish. And I'll tell you how good it is, because I've had it before, and that's why I'm doing it again. Here's what we had. That's it in the container there, so I got enough for me and somebody else over the next few days. Sorry you can't be here to join me, but I'm glad you are here. Again, if this is your first time, I hope you'll come back and subscribe. We're getting a lot more subscribers, but I think that's because my granddaughter Amy's on there. Seems like when Amy comes on, we get more people watching it. I don't know why that is. She's going to be 19 next week or two. And so, off and on, my granddaughters are with me. Karina, the oldest one, she's a photographer. But when they're not here, I got to do it by myself. So it's a little difficult to do it by myself, but it still works. Let's see how this tastes. It's good eating. It's flavorful. You can see our couscous got all the water absorbed. We got vegetable broth in there again. And again, if you want, you could substitute chicken broth or something else in there. This is what I like. And remember, we've got hot chilies with the tomatoes. That's really not quite hot enough for me. So I'll probably doctor up the next batch with a little hot sauce. I made some the other day. Keep telling you I'm going to show you how I do it. But I didn't have my camera the other day. Somebody had the base off of it and I couldn't put it on the tripod, but we got that done. You can probably tell I'm hungry. It's past noon here in Sarasota. So I'm going to try and nourish myself a bit and enjoy my lunch, and hope you enjoy your day. Again, I'm glad to have you here, and those of you that did come back and have subscribed, we sure appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed, please do it and hit the button so you'll see the next video. I don't know what we're going to cook yet. I'll see what I like during the week. I usually try to get these things photographed on Tuesday and send them out on Wednesday, but it doesn't always work out because sometimes life gets in the way. I'm painting now, and that takes up some time. Here's Minnie Mouse, my kitten. So that's Minnie. Minnie Mouse is going to be a year old about the same day that my granddaughter Amy's going to be 19. That's early in October. I've had a little girl for about a year. She's been good company. And I don't know if she's still a kitten or not. She sure acts and plays like one. So anyway, that's a painting that I did. I do paint. That's one of the reasons I don't get here as regularly as I might like to, but I enjoy painting too. In fact, I've got a painting channel now, Phil Darst Art. And if you're interested in art or what I paint, you can see me there. I'm not sure I'm going to teach anything. I possibly will show you some of the steps that I go through to make a painting. Some of them I can knock out in a couple hours, and some of them it takes a week or so. So I'm having fun. I've enjoyed that. It's something I've always wanted to get in place to do, but like I said, life gets in the way, and I finally made a decision that I'm going to put painting ahead of a lot of things. And so if you enjoy that, you'll get a chance to see it. And I think that's about it. We're going to wrap it up for today. Again, subscribe, hit the bell so you see what's next. And I've enjoyed having you. If it's your first time, as I've said, I'm glad you're here, and I do hope you'll come back. And for you that are subscribing now and coming regularly, I sure appreciate your support. And that's about it for this day. I'm going to say goodbye. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to get on with mine.